Now there's a whole bunch of Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra cases out there, and you might be wondering, Derek, what makes this pin button case so much more different from any other case? Well, let me answer that question for you. The two things that Pitaka is advertising for this S25 Ultra case is the fact that it has 3 customizable buttons, as well as it being Aramid fiber. If you're not familiar with Aramid fiber, well, guess what? You're not alone, because I didn't know what that meant either. So let's go and ask Google Gemini and check and see what that actually means. Can you explain to me, like I'm a 5-year-old, about what Aramid fiber is?
Imagine you have a superhero's cape, okay? A really, really strong cape that can stop bad guys from ripping it. Aramid fiber is like the special string that makes that superhero cape super strong. It's not cotton, like your t-shirt, and it's not wool, like your sweater. It's a special kind of string that's made in a factory. Think of it like this. Regular string is easy to break, right? You can pull it hard and snap. Aramid fiber string is like a super duper strong version of that. You can pull and pull and pull, and it's very, very hard to break. Because it's so strong, grown-ups use Aramid fiber to make things that need to be safe and tough, like those superhero capes. Well, not real ones, but things that need to be strong, like bulletproof vests for police officers. Strong ropes that can lift heavy, heavy things. Even some parts of aeroplanes.
Okay, so that was Google Gemini. If you don't use Google Gemini AI, I would highly recommend it. It has some really, really cool Google AI features, and the fact that it talks to you as if it's a real person is kind of weird and creepy at the same time. But the general gist of what Aramid fiber, as per Google Gemini, is going to be the fact that it's super, super durable. It's kind of like a superhero's cape, as per Google Gemini. And so this Aramid fiber technology, I'm wondering, is going to be giving carbon fiber a run for its money, because I mean, Google just compared it to being a superhero cape. All right, so full disclosure, I've been using this case for quite some time now, and I actually love it. I'll give you the reasons why at the end of the video, but I did put it back in the box so that way we can do a mock unboxing. So in order to unbox it, you just slide it down like so. You can see that this is going to be kind of the shell. And then you have this piece of paper right here, which is going to be instructions on how to set up your customized buttons for your S25 Ultra. And then you have the actual Aramid fiber case here. Again, I have been using this for quite some time, and you can see that there's some oil marks there. I tried to clean it, but that is actually foreshadowing for one of the reasons why I don't like this case. Anyways, continuing on, let's go and pull the case out. And oh, there's a little bit more paperwork in there. They do have some QR codes, just so that way you're able to scan the QR code and then actually watch a video on how to actually customize and add shortcuts. And then that's it. There isn't really anything else. I mean, it's a box, and then it's like a shell of a box, and then there's literally 2 pieces of paper. Let's go and put this case on the phone so that way we can see how to add any 3 apps as a shortcut using the 3 customizable buttons. All right, so we have the S25 Ultra here. This is going to be in the jet black from the Samsung website. And then we have our Pitaka case on the left-hand side. So they say that you should install the phone 1 leg at a time, or 1 corner at a time. For me, starting off at the bottom left-hand corner and then pushing down on the right-hand corner, and then pushing down to the top left-hand corner and pushing down on the top right-hand corner. And so now you should be able to see that this case is nice and snug in there. I do want to fully state that this case is just sexy. The fact that it doesn't get rid of the flat sides for the S25 Ultra frame, and these 3 customizable buttons on the Pitaka case don't protrude some type of crazy, and then the actual volume rocker and the power buttons have kind of like a metallic feel, maybe like a really high density plastic. On the back side of the phone, you can see that the S25 Ultra's camera lenses have a really, really nice cutout, very, very precise and accurate. And then you can actually see that the case is woven Aramid fiber. And so these kind of markings is actually one of the cons of this case. I do have to admit, as I've been using this case for the last 2 or 3 weeks, is the fact that this is just an oil and fingerprint magnet. You could literally soak your hands in soap and water, and then as soon as you get any type of oily residue on your fingers from your face, or maybe just lotion or what have you, this is going to reflect any of that oily residue, and it kind of is annoying. So you want to make sure that you have a microfiber cleaning cloth so you can clean it regularly, unless you don't have OCD like I do. The rest of the case is actually really well built. You can see here that there is a little bit of branding here with the Pitaka case, and then they have the S25 Ultra's USB-C port, and then you have a speaker grill, and then a little bit of a slot for the infamous S Pen. The S Pen does come in and out of the case really easily. There isn't any hindrance on the ease of access to pulling the S Pen out of the phone. It's actually really, really simple. Even though there is a little bit of an indentation on the actual case for where the S Pen is, it's still really simple, and it does not reduce any of the protection of the actual phone. I do want to state that because the S25 Ultra's camera modules do have a little bit of protrusion on the case itself, you can actually put the phone on the table and you can see that it wobbles a little. Now it's not a radical wobble, but it's still a little bit of a wobble and it can be a little bit of annoying. Whenever you're holding the S25 Ultra, you can see that because the corners are rounded and the Pitaka case is rounded, you can hold it in your hand like so, and it actually doesn't dig into your palm, and it's actually a really comfortable case to hold. Even though this case is super durable and has some high quality plastics, or I guess aramid fiber, it does not add too much bulk or weight to the S25 Ultra, so don't be worried about this case being heavy and or bulky. So now let's actually go over how to actually customize these 3 pin button cases for this Pitaka case. Let's log into our S25 Ultra. And so the first thing that you're going to want to do is to go into your modes on Samsung. So typically for me, I would swipe down and swipe over to the left, and then you can then see modes here at the top right hand corner. Now I want to fully disclose that I have customized my kind of quick tray a little bit, so yours may be looking a little bit different, but ultimately you want to be looking for modes. Let's go ahead and press and hold on that, and we can actually see the modes there. Once you are here, you then go to routines at the bottom right hand corner of the screen, and then you can actually see that I have 3 NFC settings here already. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete all 3 of my customized settings so that way I can do this from scratch for you. All right, so now that I've deleted those 3 customized modes, let's go ahead and press that plus sign at the top right hand corner. And for this if section, we're gonna start off our algorithm with add what triggered to this routine. So the way this case actually operates is through NFC. So in order for you to add these 3 customizable shortcut buttons on the left-hand side, you will have to have NFC turned on your phone. So once you validated that you have NFC activated on your phone, again, we're gonna go into if, and then we're going to press on this green plus sign. Once we press on the green plus sign, we're gonna see a plethora of options. What we're gonna be looking for is going to be looking for NFC tagged. So there's NFC tag there. And once you have this screen selected, this is actually asking you to pair whatever button you want to this particular NFC tag. So for instance, I'm gonna pair my bottom one to my Google Home. So I'm gonna go ahead and press on the bottom NFC button for the Pitaka Pin Button Case. And then you can see that it's going to ask for a tag name. So I'm gonna say Google Home. And I'm gonna select done. And so now we have our if statement. That's the first portion of our algorithm. So for the next part, we're then going to enter our then statement, which is going to be by pressing on the green plus sign under the then word. And then we're going to go to the very top here where it says open an app or do an app action. This is going to be how we open Google Home. Once we select that, it's going to load up all of our apps. We can scroll all the way down if we wanted to, but in order to save time, we have that magnifying glass at the top right-hand corner. We're gonna type in home, and then it's going to look for any of the keywords for home. So I wanna say, open the Google Home app. So once I select that, I select done. So make sure that we press save. Once we press save, it's then going to ask for us to give a routine name. We'll just call this NFC Home. And then we can add any type of color or icon to it. We're just gonna keep it basic for now. And so we have NFC Home, and then let's go ahead and try this out now. So we have our NFC tag over here. We can see that we are at the home screen of our S25 Ultra. Now let's go ahead and press and hold to the designated shortcut button on the case, and there you go. We have Google Home. And now you can actually see all of my Google Smart Home features. All right, because we're all human, I get that sometimes it can be a little bit of a struggle to get something the first time. So luckily we have 2 more times to go ahead and do this. Okay, again, so let's again swipe down. Let's go over to our modes. Again, that could be subjective to you. Let's then go to routines. And then from routines, we'll then press on the plus button at the top right-hand corner. Under the if statement, we're then going to select that green plus sign. We're gonna scroll all the way down until we see NFC tagged. We're going to press and hold whatever customized button that we want. We're gonna go to the middle one this time, and then we're gonna press and hold. Once we press and hold, it's going to ask for a tag name. So we're gonna say NFC, and then this is going to be Spotify. I'm gonna go ahead and press done. We've now just completed our first portion of the if then statement. We then go to the then portion, select that green plus sign, select the very top portion there, and then we're going to look for Spotify. And there's Spotify. So from there, we select Spotify, we press done. We've then satisfied our if-then algorithm. So we press save. We can then name this NFC Spotify, or whatever your naming convention is going to be. For me, I'm just a little bit OCD on how I have naming conventions. And now you can actually see that I have NFC Home and NFC Spotify. So I'm gonna go ahead and press and hold on the middle portion here on the Pitaka case, and let's see if it brings up Spotify. All right, there's Spotify. You can use these buttons as certain tags for various other settings, not exclusive to apps. you don't have to use open an app or do an app action. You can actually select something else over here. So for instance, if you wanted to have a sound and vibration mode, you can select sound and vibration, and then you can select that and select maybe vibrate and select done and press save. Okay, so through and through, I really like this Pitaka case. I like the fact that the form factor doesn't take away from the actual kind of sleek and sexy feeling of the S25 Ultra. The sides remain flat, just like the actual S25 Ultra frame. The back is nice and flat. Even though it does have a little bit of wobble when you lay it down onto the actual desk, it doesn't wobble that much. But then the actual key thing about this case is, again, going to be these 3 customizable buttons. I would have to say that it is a really cool feature. I do like the fact that I can have different apps and also certain different settings that I can activate on my phone without actually having to go into the settings in and of itself. Now, even though this phone case, I really love it, it's not perfect. The thing that I mostly don't like about this case is the price. The Pitaka case, because it's kind of the only one on the market, this case is pretty expensive. It comes in at $70 USD, and that's before all of the tariff shenanigans started. I know there are multiple qualitative cases at a fraction of the price, but those cases are just cases. This case goes above and beyond just protecting your phone because of these 3 customizable buttons. Another thing that I don't like about this case is the fact that this Aramid fiber, this woven technology stuff, it's a finger and grease magnet. So you can actually see here that there's a little bit of smudging right there from, I guess, my lunch, or maybe I was touching my face and I touched my phone. I don't know what it is, but the back portion of the phone collects oil and grease and residue like no tomorrow. And so that wouldn't be such a big deal for me, even for someone that has OCD like I do. But the thing is that it's not quite simple to clean this case. The only way I was actually able to kind of get the residue and the yuck off of the back portion of the screen is to get some rubbing alcohol and then kind of just rub the back portion. And sometimes even then, the alcohol didn't actually clear all of the oil and yuck off. Another way that I read off of other YouTubers is the fact that you get warm soapy water and then you dip your microfiber cloth and you kind of just do your Mr. Miyagi wax on, wax off type thing on this particular portion of the phone case, and then eventually all of that oil and grease residue is going to go away. And it's a small price to pay because of the fact that, I mean, really honestly, how often am I looking at the back of my phone? I mean, I'm always looking at the front of my phone, but the back of my phone, how often am I using that? Again, this may be just like a Derek thing because of the fact that I have like some crazy OCD, but ultimately I would have to say that I wish it was a little bit easier to clean this Aramid fiber woven technology part. Just because, I mean, I like my potato chips and my French fries. Or are they called freedom fries? All right, also I forgot to mention one important aspect about this pin button case for this Aramid fiber technology and whatnot. It is still MagSafe ready. You're actually able to add your MagSafe chargers, wallet stands, and things like that. So really, it's a all-around case, and I think there's a lot to love about it, but the price still sometimes gets me. All right, everybody, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you found it informative or helpful, feel free to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.